Selling in Laguna Woods Village is different. Different buyers, different expectations, different ownership structures, different timelines, different HOA requirements, and over the years, I've watched sellers leave thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars on the table, simply because nobody explained what Laguna Woods buyers are actually looking for. We've also watched sellers achieve remarkable results, selling quickly, selling above asking price, and often without spending a fortune. Today, I want to share 12 mistakes I see Laguna Woods sellers make over and over again, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Because in Laguna Woods, you only get one chance to sell your home for the first time, and preparation matters. If we haven't met, welcome. I'm Mark Blunden with eXp Realty. My team and I help people move into and out of Laguna Woods Village and throughout South Orange County every single day. And on this channel, we talk about what life is really like here in Laguna Woods. Not just the homes, but the lifestyle, the challenges, the opportunities, and all the little details that most people don't discover until they're already in escrow. And today we're talking about selling, because Laguna Woods buyers are different. And if you understand what they're looking for, you can position your home to stand out. Now, this is probably the biggest misconception I see among sellers. People assume buyers are simply comparing square footage, bedroom count, bathroom count, price. But that's rarely how Laguna Woods buyers think. They buy smooth ceilings, they buy quiet locations, they buy privacy, and they buy views, and sometimes garages. They definitely buy inside laundry, and they buy no steps, and often single level living. Larger patios, sometimes atriums. They buy convenient access to different clubhouses or the golf course. Sometimes they simply want to be able to walk to their favorite swimming pool or a local walking trail. And sometimes they buy something much harder to describe, a feeling. We've shown two Cordobas, same floor plan, same square footage. One overlooked a peaceful greenbelt, the other faced a relatively busy street by gate number 6. Our buyers overwhelmingly preferred the greenbelt home. Another buyer told us, "I don't care about the kitchen, I just want to sit outside and not look at another building." And honestly, that's one of the reasons pricing in Laguna Woods can sometimes seem inconsistent, because buyers aren't purchasing dimensions. They're purchasing experiences and lifestyle. Understanding those experiences is critical when positioning your home for sale. Now, this next one can be difficult because clutter is emotional. And over time, we all accumulate things: holiday decorations, ornaments, family heirlooms, kitchen gadgets, boxes of paperwork, collections, memories. And what I've noticed is that many residents moved to Laguna Woods years ago thinking they needed to bring everything with them, only to discover later that much of it was never used again. We've opened patio storage rooms completely packed floor to ceiling, carport storage cabinets overflowing, and closets so full you couldn't slide another hanger inside. Buyers notice these things because buyers open closets, buyers look inside patio storage areas, buyers peek into your carport cabinets. And when every available space is packed, buyers don't think, "Wow, these owners really loved holiday decorations." They think there must not be enough storage here. Charles was a wonderful example and client of ours. He owned a Seville model in United Mutual, a very nice home, but it was dated and there was simply a lot inside. We spent time together sorting, deciding what would stay, deciding what could be donated, what could be packed early. We repainted, we replaced the dark carpeting with lighter carpeting, and then we staged using many of Charles's own furnishings and artwork. Nothing extravagant, nothing expensive, just thoughtful editing. And the transformation was remarkable. The home suddenly felt brighter, more spacious, more contemporary. So much natural light poured in through the windows. And it was so inviting. The result? It sold very quickly and significantly above asking price. Clutter doesn't simply occupy physical space, it occupies emotional space. And buyers need room to imagine themselves living in your home. I think many sellers assume buyers want luxury finishes, and occasionally they do. But more often, buyers simply want confidence. They want clean, bright, fresh, move-in ready. They don't necessarily need imported tile from Italy or $50,000 kitchens or designer appliances. They want to walk in and feel good, feel like the home has been cared for. My dear client Edie is another great example. Before listing her home, we pre-packed many personal belongings, deep cleaned thoroughly, repainted, used much of her own furniture, and staged thoughtfully around it. Again, nothing extravagant, just careful preparation. The result? Multiple interested buyers in our first open house weekend, a quick sale above asking price. Nancy and Terry, perhaps my favorite example. They spent 18 years caring for their home in Laguna Woods. Everything worked, everything was well maintained, everything felt loved. Their pride of ownership was obvious. Buyers noticed this immediately. The home sold in 10 days over asking price. Honestly, it's not because we had some secret marketing formula, it's because buyers felt confident. Confident that the home had been cared for, confident that there wouldn't be surprises waiting for them. And confidence is incredibly valuable. Now, this may be the most common mistake we see. Sellers tell us, Mark, let's start high, test the market, we can always reduce our price later. Technically, that's true, but buyers watch listings very closely, especially in Laguna Woods. They know what sold, they know what didn't sell. They know when prices change. And once a listing sits for several weeks, buyers start asking questions. What's wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold? Are the sellers difficult? Does it have hidden problems? Price reductions can create doubt, and doubt is expensive. By contrast, a properly priced home creates immediate activity. Activity creates urgency, and urgency creates competition. And competition creates leverage for sellers. We've actually had sellers say to us afterwards, I thought you were pricing too low, but now we understand why you recommended it. Because sometimes the fastest way to achieve the highest price isn't to start high, it's to start smart. The market speaks quickly, usually within days. If buyers are excited, you'll know about it. Showing requests increase, people linger during open houses, questions become more detailed, offers begin appearing. And if buyers aren't excited, you'll know that too. The first weekend matters so much. The first week is really important, but the first 2 weeks are probably the most important period of the entire listing, because that is when your home is freshest, newest, and most interesting. That's when it receives the greatest exposure. Once momentum is lost, it's difficult to get it back. And that's why preparation before listing is often more important than what happens after listing. One thing I think sellers sometimes overlook is that not all Laguna Woods buyers are looking for the same thing. United Mutual buyers are cash buyers. Many appreciate cottage-style floor plans, single-level living like Cordobas, greenbelts, mature landscaping, and lower purchase prices. Third mutual buyers are often different. Sometimes they need financing, sometimes they want a garage. Others prefer a slightly newer condominium-style layout. Some are willing to pay significantly more for hilltop locations inside Gate 14 and panoramic views. And then there's the towers buyers. They're often seeking convenience, meals included, concierge, transportation, housekeeping support, security, additional social opportunities, and a lifestyle where it's really easy to just lock their door and travel. The reason this matters is because marketing should reflect the buyer profile. If we're selling a remodeled Gate 14 condominium with panoramic mountain views, we're marketing differently than a manor in United Mutual. And I'm certainly marketing it differently than a tower's residence. Understanding who your likely buyer is and what matters to them helps position your home far more effectively. Hi, it's Mark here. If you're exploring 55+ communities in Orange County such as Laguna Woods Village, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, we'll walk you through everything from floor plans to financing, HOAs and monthly costs. Call, text, email or schedule a Zoom below. We're here to make your move simple and stress-free. Buyers don't just compare purchase prices, they compare carrying costs. Every month, every year, over the next 10 to 20 years. And increasingly, buyers are becoming very analytical. They ask questions like, what are the HOA dues? How often do they increase? By how much do they increase? What are the property taxes? What about insurance? Electric? Can I charge an electric car? How much will renovations cost? How much to add laundry or remove popcorn ceiling? And they compare those numbers against competing homes. We've had buyers walk into a beautifully remodeled property, love everything about it, and then discover that the monthly costs simply didn't align with their comfort level. We've also had buyers decide that paying a little more each month was worthwhile because of the convenience, the amenities, the security, and the lifestyle that Laguna Woods offers. As sellers, it's important to understand that buyers aren't simply evaluating your home, they're evaluating the complete financial picture. And when they feel comfortable with that picture, they're much more likely to make strong offers. Sometimes we meet sellers who are preparing to list their home and planning to spend $20,000, $30,000, sometimes even $50,000 remodeling. And honestly, we often encourage them to pause. Luxury appliances, imported tile, high-end finishes, custom cabinets, designer lighting, quartz countertops, they're beautiful, but they don't always return their cost, especially in Laguna Woods Village, because many buyers understand that tastes differ. What one person considers stunning, another person may want to change. I remember one seller who was ready to completely remodel their kitchen, and after discussing costs, we decided against it. Instead, we painted, decluttered, improved lighting, deep cleaned, and presented the home beautifully. The result, a quick sale, and a very happy seller who didn't spend tens of thousands of dollars unnecessarily. There's a real risk in Laguna Woods of over-improving your home, especially when it comes to selling it. Often providing you're clean, freshly painted, move-in ready, buyers like to customize homes over time once they've moved in and learn how it feels to live in the home. They often want to do that rather than pay a premium for upgrades that you've done as a seller. Now, that said, there are certain improvements that nearly always provide a good return. Fresh paint, smooth ceilings, replacing dark carpet with a lighter carpet, new light fixtures, updated cabinet hardware, window cleaning, deep cleaning, sometimes even pressure washing patios, touching up doors, repairing damaged window screens. These relatively inexpensive improvements can dramatically change how buyers feel when they walk through a home for the first time. Buyers buy with emotion. They want homes that feel bright, fresh, open, well looked after, comfortable, homes that feel easy, not project homes. Often small improvements create a surprisingly large emotional impact. Buyers notice everything, from corroded water valves to loose door handles, sticky sliders, broken blinds, missing screens, worn thresholds, leaky faucets, cracked outlet covers, and while none of these items are individually expensive, together they tell a story that buyers don't want to hear. Because buyers begin wondering, if these little things haven't been maintained, what bigger things also might have been neglected. Buyers don't necessarily expect perfection, but they do want reassurance. They want confidence. Confidence that the seller cared for the home. Confidence that there won't be unexpected expenses immediately after moving in. And confidence often translates directly into stronger offers. This may be the single most important topic in this entire video, and I see this happen again and again. Offer accepted, escrow opened. Buyer excited, everyone starts talking about closing dates. Then the first HOA inspection takes place, we receive the report, and suddenly there's a big problem. Maybe laundry was added years ago. Maybe a patio was enclosed, a wall was removed, perhaps windows were replaced or an entry door. A skylight was installed or recessed lighting was added. Nobody obtained mutual consent or city permits where required. Now everyone has to scramble. The seller has to gather documentation, potentially hire contractors, maybe even obtain engineering reports if there were structural changes, seek retroactive mutual consent, get city permits for work that was done, and it creates a huge delay in the sales process. Sometimes by weeks, sometimes even longer. One of the smartest things sellers can do is ask their realtor to order the first HOA inspection early, before the home even hits the market. That way, potential issues can be identified and addressed before buyers are waiting for a closing date. Honestly, this one step alone can save sellers an enormous amount of stress. Now, this is also an important thing to think about. You're not really selling drywall or cabinets or flooring, you're selling possibility. You're selling golf cart rides, the mother's market, morning walks through the green belts, afternoons at the pool, fitness classes, bridge tournaments, woodworking projects, ceramics, concerts, horseback riding, tennis, gardening, coffee with friends, and perhaps most importantly, you're selling the opportunity for someone to create a completely new chapter in their life. Laguna Woods buyers aren't necessarily looking for the biggest house or the fanciest kitchen. They're often looking for simplicity, connection, security, friendship, purpose, and an environment that supports aging well. The sellers who understand that and help buyers imagine themselves living that lifestyle almost always achieve better results. We often tell sellers you only get one chance to sell your home for the first time. And in Laguna Woods, preparation matters, presentation matters, pricing matters, understanding the HOA process matters, and perhaps most importantly, understanding what Laguna Woods buyers are truly looking for matters. Because buyers here aren't simply purchasing a home, they're purchasing their next chapter. And the sellers who help them imagine that chapter usually achieve the best results. So if you're considering selling your Laguna Woods home and would like an honest conversation about pricing, preparation, timing, or simply understanding what today's buyers are looking for, we would be delighted to help you. You can call or text on 949-599-4086, email us at mark@markblunden.com, or you can schedule a Zoom. All our contact information is in the description below. Again, this is Mark Blunden with eXp Realty, and we'll see you in the next video.